Agentic workflows are taking over AI automation. They can be built 10 times faster than a traditional NAN workflow. They are self-healing, and you don't even have to write a single line of code. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down Claude Code, how to use it, how to get set up, explain a few key changes and the shift that's happening within the AI automation space. And then we're actually going to go ahead and build out a workflow live. So let's get straight into this. So there are four main changes from traditional automation to agentic. And here they are. So a few pretty big ones here. Self-healing being one of the most important. So in Claude Code, and when you actually build out automations in Claude Code, they are essentially self-healing. Now, what I mean by this, if you're used to building workflows in NAN, you get an error, you have to go through and find the error and manually fix it. Whereas in Claude Code, if you get an error, AI will just fix the error itself, or you can fix it with natural language. You can say, I'm running into an error here, can you fix this? And then it will go ahead and automatically fix that for you, which is really, really powerful. If you're like me and you spend hours and hours in NAN every day, fixing errors over and over again takes up most of that time. So this is a massive benefit when it comes to building agentic workflows. The second being natural language. So again, comparing to NAN, you have to go in there and build the workflow block by block, module by module, configure each module, run it step by step. With platforms like Claude Code and Anti-Gravity, all you need to do is speak to it. You can just say, I want to build a lead gen automation and scrape Apify, and it will ask for your API keys and build that automatically for you. So the agent asks for clarifying questions, and you use natural language to iterate. Now, the next one being built-in security. Again, I'll compare it to NAN. You have to set up security guardrails and verification nodes to make sure that API keys aren't getting leaked, but you can easily do this with natural language in Claude Code. So AI reviews the code for vulnerabilities on its own and sets guardrails. So for example, never send customer data or store customer data anywhere. And then moving on to the last major change, instant API and MCP integration. So like I mentioned, just say what tool you want to connect, what API you want to hook up to. The agent will go out, read the API docs, and actually just ask you for your API key and then link it up for you automatically. So you can imagine how easy it now is to build automations and workflows within Claude Code, which we'll go through and actually build one out later. Just to give you a little bit more of an idea of the differences between a traditional automation and some agentic workflows, this diagram here explains it very well. So a traditional automation is like cooking yourself a dinner from a recipe book. You follow every step precisely, measurements, set timers, flip, and if you skip a step, then your meal isn't going to turn out right. Whereas agentic workflows, you're ordering at a high-end restaurant, you just say, I want this. They ask clarifying questions, and then they handle the rest. So it's essentially saying, I want steak. Then the waiter says, how would you like your steak cooked? And then you say either medium rare or however you want your steak cooked, just to give you a little bit of a more simpler breakdown of the differences here. So we're going to be using Claude Code inside of VS Code. If you haven't got VS Code downloaded, you can download it for free. Once you've got it downloaded, it will look like this. And then when you're inside, all you want to do is come to the extensions section here, type in Claude Code, and get it downloaded. Then you'll be prompted to sign into your Claude Code account. You will need a Pro Claude plan. I believe it's like $20 a month, but extremely worth it, especially if you're thinking about building these agentic workflows. So once you've got Claude Code downloaded, you want to click on it and click on this button here. Then we can basically just get out of this here and we have Claude Code there in front of us. Now, I'll move back to this section here. So this is essentially what it's going to look like for you in VS Code. We have our Claude Code agent here, which is where we can ask questions, plan out our workflows, and execute and actually ask Claude to build us our workflow. And then on the side, we have our files, folders, and our tools. So let's go back to VS Code here, and you can see we've got exactly that. So we've got our folders section and then Claude Code here. Now, what you want to actually do is click on open a folder and then create a folder. So I'm going to do this exactly now. So I like to keep everything inside of 2 folders. So I have an Agentic workflow demo folder and then a production folder. For this video, I'm going to click into my demo folder. I'm going to create a new folder and we're just going to call it lead gen because we're going to be building out a lead gen agentic workflow. I'm just going to hit create, hit open, and then we are inside of our folder here. We can just click on this and then again close that window. So now you can see we have our lead gen folder that we've just created and we are actually inside of that folder now. So once you've got this set up, we are ready to actually start building out a workflow. There is one small step that we need to do before, which is add a Claude.md file. This basically is instructions on how we want our folder to be laid out. It will create different folders for us to organize our workflow. Now, the framework or Claude.md file that we're going to be using today is called WAT. Basically, it's workflows, agents, and tools. So essentially what this is we have our agent and then it's going to build us a workflows folder and also a tools folder. I'll explain it later in more detail. So back in here, I'll leave the Claude.md file in my free school community in the description of this video so you can use exactly the same setup. Now all we want to do is drag in our new Claude.md folder and tell Claude to basically set up and use those instructions when building out our workflow. So here is the Claude.md file or framework that we're going to be using to build out this workflow. Now you can use this same Claude.md file in all of your workflows that you build in the future. And I'll just go through it quickly. So agent instructions, you're working inside the WAT framework, workflows, agents, and tools. We have the WAT architecture here, layer 1 workflows, which is the instructions, layer 2 agents, the decision maker, layer 3 tools, the execution. And then it basically comes in and says, or it tells Claude how to operate. But yeah, I'll leave this in my free school community below. But all I've done is I've just dragged this file to here, and then we've got our Claude.md file within our lead gen file as well. So then what we can do is we can come to Claude and we can just tell it to read our Claude.md file and set up the framework within our new project. So I've just told Claude to go read the Claude.md file in the folder and set up the project. So we're going to click allow and it will go ahead and then set up our project for us. You can see it says, now I understand the WAT framework. Let me check what already exists. I'm just going to allow access and then it's going to build out our folders. So you can see here we have the tools folder, the workflows folder, we have the .env file where we'll store all of our API keys when building out workflows for security. But yeah, it's going to go out and build our folder and lay out everything correctly so we know where everything is. Okay, so we've asked Claude to read our Claude.md file, and it's gone ahead and actually set up our project for us. So you can see that we have a tools folder, a workflows folder here, and our project setup is complete. So I've successfully set up your WAT framework project with the following structure. You can read the structure there. It's created a few different files for us. .env file for template API keys and environment variables, and then a few different steps here. Now, once this is set up, essentially we're ready to go and start building out a workflow straight away and start testing this out. And in this video, I'm going to be building a lead gen or lead scraper for dentists in my local area. So I'm going to tell it to go out, search the web for dentists in the north of England, and update a Google Sheet for me so that I can then contact those leads and sell them on my services. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to drop in a prompt here and I'll explain it as I go. So I've just written out a quick prompt. Here it is. Okay, so I've just added a quick prompt to Claude now. You can see it here. Hey Claude, I'm building a workflow that scrapes dental practice leads from Google Places in the north of England, researches each dental practice or each dentist to gather relevant info about their practice, then writes a personalized outreach message based on what it finds, then exports everything to Google Sheets so I can review it and send the messages. We'll start with 25 leads. So that's as simple as it is. I've used natural language there. I actually used an app called Whisper just to talk to Claude, which makes it way easier. So let's go ahead and run this. What it's going to do now is it's going to say, great, let's break this down using the WAT framework or our Claude.md file. Give us a list of what it needs to do. So here you can see gather requirements, create the main workflow, build Google Places scraper, build practices research tool, build personalized message generator, and then build the Google Sheets export tool and test with 25 leads. But what it's going to do is going to ask you a few questions because we have it in plan mode, and I recommend starting off with plan mode and going through it step by step with Claude. So yeah, let's just go through this. We'll do this, and then we're going to offer software and technology. We'll do this and this, and we'll use the Google Places API here. So as you can see, it's just basically asking you questions to verify what you need, and then it's going to go through this checklist and take it off one by one. And then what it will do once it's got the framework completed, it will ask you for your API keys. Now, at this step, you can either go out and get your API keys, but if you're a bit confused to what or where to find your API keys, all you need to do is just speak to Claude. You can say, oh, I'm confused, I don't know where to find my API keys. Can you guide me through the process? And it will provide the links that you can just click on, create accounts, and get your API keys quickly. So let's let this run, and I'll come back when it asks me that. Cool, so just like that, what would have taken me probably an hour to build and lay out in N8N took probably about 5 minutes. We still need to do a couple things here, but let's check out and see what the reply from Claude Code is. So complete your dentist lead generation workflow is ready. So if you click on our workflows tool, we can see, or our workflows folder, we can see the dental lead generation.md file. If we click into our tools folder, we can see all our tools. So export to sheets, generate outreach, research practice, run workflow, and scrape Google Places. Now, that's what was created. Now it's telling us the next step. So it's written a folder for us called quickstart.md, and it's given us a couple different things to go out and do here. So let's click on the quickstart.md and give it a read. So it's going to say install dependencies. So we'll do that in a second. Then get your Google Places API key, get your Anthropic key, get your Google Sheets credentials.json, and then run the workflow. Now, if you don't know how to get any of this, just come back to this chat interface and just say, oh, I don't know how to get this. Can you guide me through the steps? And it will guide you through the steps on how to do this. I've already got this all set up, so I'm just going to copy and paste my API keys in and my credentials.json file, and then we'll actually run this and test it out. So I've just run the install requirements.txt file, and it's installed the dependencies, and then it's going to say, go ahead and get your API keys and then add them into this .env file here. So you can see all you need to do is just delete these sections, go out, grab your API keys and replace them here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Cool. So I've added all my API keys in and my credentials.json file, and you can see it's replied with excellent. Everything is set up. Everything is ready to go, and we can test it with 5 results here, which we will do in a second. I just wanted to quickly point out, for the purpose of this tutorial, I've dropped in my credentials.json just into the file here. But for extra security, you can say, I don't want to store my credentials.json file here. I actually want to move it into the .env file to keep it more secure. So when you actually go and publish and host this workflow, it will be in a more secure folder and your API keys won't be leaked. So what it's saying is that this will scrape 5 dental practices in Manchester, research their reviews and online presence, generate personalized outreach using OpenAI, open my browser automatically for Google authentication, and then create and store everything in a Google Sheet. So you can see how easy this is. Just using natural language, we've managed to create a workflow or replicate a workflow that would take us probably an hour in N8N to build out and test. We've done it in the space of about 5 minutes, which is really, really cool. And yeah, exciting, because this means that the possibilities when it comes to building out more complicated workflows and the time taken to do that is going to be significantly reduced. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and run this, and then we'll check the results. So just like that, our workflow has been completed. All 4 steps executed successfully. Step 1, scrape 5 dental practices, average rating, all the websites and phone numbers, researched each practice, generated personalized outreach messages with OpenAI, and then exported it all to Google Sheets. And then it's given us a link to click on, and it will show us all of that. I'll check that out in a second. It's just going to give you a bit more information here. And then it also tells you the costs, which is actually really, really useful, especially when you're thinking about scaling a workflow up. So you can see it cost me 12 cents to test it with 5 leads. And if I wanted to run this with 100 leads, it will cost me $2.20. So really, really cool and super, super easy to set up. Now, if you run into any errors along the way, just use natural language and speak to Claude Code saying, I'm having an issue here, or the workflow is not running. And it will just go ahead and self-heal or fix the workflow automatically and get this all sorted for you. So let's head over to our dental leads here. And there we have it. We have 5 dental clinics or practices in the practice names. We have all the addresses, we have all the phone numbers, we have all their websites, their ratings, their review count, key insights, and then our personalized messages. So really, really powerful stuff here. If we wanted to add in anything, so for example, go ahead and get me the email addresses so I can use that personal outreach message in an email, you can just go back to Claude Code and ask it that. So I'm going to do that now and then see if we can get the email addresses as well. So back in Claude Code, I'm just going to say, can we add the email addresses of each practice to the sheet? I'm going to run that. And it's going to go ahead and get us the email addresses of the 5 dental practices and update our Google Sheet. So then we can actually contact them via phone or email if we want to. So just like that, we can see that email addresses have been added to our sheet. Now, really, really easy to do, like you saw. Just literally just talk to Claude Code, tell it what you want to do or what you want to build, and it will go ahead and build it for you. It will come up with a plan. You can accept the plan, you can change anything on the plan, and you can edit it as you go. Now, this literally took probably about 5 to 10 minutes to do. And we've got all the information there with our personalized message that we can send straight away. And we can run this as many times as we want within our Claude Code dashboard inside of VS Code. So all we'd need to do is go back there and say, run it again with new leads, and then it will just create a new sheet with new leads. So yeah, really, really powerful stuff. Jump into Claude Code, install that Claude.md file. You can get that from my free school community in the description of this video. So just before I close out this video, I just wanted to quickly go through a couple more things. So if you've been building systems and workflows inside of NAN, don't worry, your NAN experience still matters. So having that NAN experience is going to benefit you massively when it comes to building agentic workflows. You know how to talk to systems, you know how systems are set up module by module, from webhooks, triggers, API authentication, data transformation, and prompting as well. So your knowledge in NAN and building workflows is going to put you at a massive advantage when it comes to building these agentic workflows. So basically, the role shift, you're going from a builder to essentially an architect or a consultant or a manager. Implementation gets easier, but businesses still need someone who can understand unclear requirements, integrate with messy systems, integrate with legacy systems, optimize and iterate time, and handle compliance and edge cases. The bottom line being lower barrier expands the market, more businesses being able to afford automation, but they're going to need experts who know how these systems work. So don't worry, NAN is still going to be massively relevant. I'll be releasing tons and tons more NAN tutorials and builds and workflow breakdowns. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, you can download the Claude.md WAT formula or template from my free school community in the description below. But I hope this video helped break down Claude Code in a little bit more detail and simplify how to actually get started and build agentic workflows with it. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.